Welcome to New Hampshire's Business. I'm Fred Coker. Manufacturing in New Hampshire is one of its biggest business sectors, and it's been included in the infrastructure talks in Washington. And however, in the 2020, a lot of manufacturing companies in New Hampshire had their orders canceled, and their supply chain was disrupted. And there was a decline in employment because of that. But here in 2021, they're on the comeback trail. 2,377 companies, manufacturing companies in New Hampshire, 67,100 workers in March. That has gone up, and there's the recovery. 71,459 in May. Most employment is in the areas of industrial machinery and equipment, electronics, electric equipment, instruments, related products, fabricated metal, and so forth. With me is the key person in New Hampshire who tracks and analyzes economic and labor data daily, including manufacturing, Brian Gottlieb, the director of the Economic and Labor Information Bureau at the New Hampshire Department of Employment Security. Welcome, Brian.
Great to be here, Fred.
What happened to aerospace and the aircraft parts manufacturing in New Hampshire, and also the supply chain and microchips?
Yeah, that was a big part of the manufacturing story, the decline in manufacturing. The airline industry was taking a hit before the pandemic, Fred, because of what happened with the Boeing 737 MAX, and we have some suppliers to that. We have a very important aerospace manufacturing industry that makes component parts. When the pandemic hit, that made the situation worse for those industries because airlines basically canceled orders across the board. There was very little airline passenger traffic. There wasn't the need to replace planes. So it took a big hit, not only in airplane parts, manufacturers like jet engines, but also instruments, optics, navigational equipment. It spread across our manufacturing sector. In the manufacturing sector related to automobiles, microchips, we know that automobile production is down because of a lack of microchips. We have a significant number, particularly in the plastics and rubber manufacturing industries, that supply to the automobile industry. Wow. So that took a few hundred jobs away as well.
Wow. Here's a graph that you all developed. It shows New Hampshire manufacturing employment up to March of this year. And what are you looking at? The dark bars, by the way, are 2019-20. The light bars, 2020-21.
Yeah, not surprisingly, what it shows, Fred, is that during the pandemic and most of 2020, we took a pretty significant hit. Some of that was related just to health concerns and the inability of manufacturers to operate with safety protocols. Others related to the conditions that I talked about. Another factor is the fact that New Hampshire relies on business investment, both throughout the country and the world. And that was down in 2020, and it started actually near the end of 2019. So it was really at its worst during the peak of the pandemic, early summer, late spring, but it has begun to pick up again. And some of the factors that I talked about related to the aerospace industry certainly eventually will get straightened out with the microchips.
Now, if there's any good news, it's this next graph, which shows average weekly earnings of production workers in manufacturing. Again, the dark bars are 2019-20, and the light bars 2020-21. And the good news is that earnings are going up.
Yeah, earnings are going up. Hourly earnings are going up. And I would say, Fred, that actually this particular graphic kind of understates the increase in wages. Part of it is because while hourly wages have been rising fairly significantly, the number of hours that people have been working on a weekly basis has been down during the pandemic. So that's cut back a little bit. But when you actually look at the hourly rate, it's up significantly in 2020, in 2021.
Interesting. Very briefly, Brian, a lot of businesses across the country, you know, are having a hard time hiring employees. How much do you see that happening here in New Hampshire?
Oh, it's the biggest problem that we'll face in recovery right now, Fred. And I will say that in the manufacturing sector, it's been a problem even during the pandemic. We haven't got enough people to work in manufacturing. So regardless of whether it's been a stronger economy, improving economy like now, or even during the pandemic, we saw increases in the number of people needed in the manufacturing sector.
Brian Gottlieb, Director of the Economic and Labor Market Information Bureau at the Department of Employment Security. Thank you, Brian.